Thank you everyone for joining. As I'm Derek, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Transspec. And to provide you a little bit of context before we get started on why we actually developed Transspec. Having worked across multiple asset classes for over a decade now, one key piece of learning that we've seen across the industry is that after decades of underinvestment and assumption-led management, what we've seen is been led down to a point of crisis where they're now predicting that the 2020s and into the 2030s is going to be a period of infrastructure failure. And what we believe is in a world that is empowered by evidence-led decisions. So everything that we used to do or required an on-site visit can now be done online. And instead of being led by paper-based static reports and information that can be disparate, we can now be led by what we actually see as a human being. So if we look into why we developed Transspec, it comes down to a few key points. So firstly, Transspec 2.0 is not just an upgrade, it's a complete revolution based on the information that you've provided to us, working alongside you on this journey. So what we're actually doing is unlocking that information across the entire asset lifecycle and fundamentally improving the way assets are not only assessed, but how reports can be generated in an interactive environment and layered on top of each other, plus a lot of collaboration work for multiple stakeholders, whether it's going to target investigations or scoping remediation or monitoring ongoing condition. What excites us the most about this is that this is a complete rebuild from the ground up. Which has taken years to do. And now it sets up us together over being able to develop more improved and enhanced ways to work across that life cycle going on for the next 5 to 10 years. So what it actually empowers us to do is also layer additional value and additional new features like surface deflection, which you've asked for, cross-section analysis, which you've asked for. But the other big component for us is that it's built to be easy to use by any stakeholder. So from the boardroom all the way through to the toolbox and at speed and scale. Plus some additional components that enhance our information security, which we'll touch on later. So to actually run through what we've built, I'll now hand over to our head of product, Josh Sinclair, to take us through.
Cool. Thanks, Derek. So for those that don't know me, I'm Josh Sinclair. I'm the head of product at Transspec. So that primarily sees me working with our customers and our development team and everyone in between to ensure that we're building a product that delivers the most possible value to you, our customers. So we thought we'd start by chatting about what's under the hood. So as Derek's already touched on, we've reimagined the dataset page to give you the most powerful view of your assets to date. So we've done this by combining a best-in-breed tech stack with an upgraded platform interface that's faster and, most importantly, easier to use. We've also built significant improvements to streamline your ways of working. And over the next few slides, we'll dive into these changes in more detail. So the first key change that we'll talk about is the speed improvements and the overall improved user experience. So in Transspec 2.0, the user experience is lightning fast because it's powered by an in-browser database. And this radically speeds up page load times and reduces lag for the end user. This also means that Transspec 2.0 is extremely scalable. So we've tested it with tens of thousands of annotations with no degradation. This modern technology reduces the need for web traffic, enabling us to power Transspec for day-to-day use, giving you faster and more optimized platform experience. Most significantly, this also sets the foundation for future offline-first functionality. So you can imagine a future where your internet drops out, you're on a remote site, and that's no longer an issue. So these foundational changes to how we've architected the platform set us up for that future. So next up, we'll talk about cutting-edge features that we've introduced in TrendSpec 2.0. So one of the biggest changes is the introduction of right-click context menus throughout. And this streamlines the user interface and contains advanced functionality whilst keeping things simple and easy to use. You'll find these right-click context menus by right-clicking on the model, the annotation list, as well as the asset files. Another significant upgrade is with the annotation panel. So previously we had the old annotation card, and what we found was that it was just too small and not scalable considering the vast amounts of varied data that our users wanted to bring into the system. So the new annotation panel is now much more scalable and able to provide you full context of your annotation data. We've introduced data templates to optimize your reporting, which Derek will touch on later, as well as new levels of customization, ultimately allowing you to tailor TrendSpec to your requirements. So this includes 24 new colors, 24 new icons, as well as nested folders to allow you to categorize your annotation and file data as needed. These changes are ultimately foundational for multi-layered reporting, which Derek is going to touch on a little later. Alrighty, so one of the big features that we've introduced is what we call surface deflection. So surface deflection allows us to analyze surfaces such as roofs or large concrete slabs. And we do this by converting thousands of points that we assess across the roof and produce a visualization that allows us to quantify deflection with just a few clicks. So, you know, how much is that roof sagging, or is that concrete slab deflected in the middle? And you're able to leverage two different algorithms to ensure that you're getting the most value possible from your data set. We'll flick to a quick demo. So how the surface deflection tool works is it's as simple as creating a polygon on a roof or on a surface that you expect to be flat. Once you've created that polygon, we'll convert it to a surface deflection and click create. So TrendSpec then analyzes tens of thousands of points in the case of a roof of this size, and rapidly produces a heat map that identifies high and low spots within this surface. So on the drawing tab here, you'll see that we've got a color scale that correlates with measurement information. And if you hover over the heat map, it will tell you how deflected that section of the roof is. So from here, we'll talk about another new feature, which is cross-section analysis. So the cross-section analysis tool allows you as a user to analyze the cross-section profile of your model. So it's as simple as drawing a line, you can turn any line into a cross-section measurement, and you can even export this data to CSV for further analysis offline. We'll have a quick look at this in the next slide as well. Cool. So similar to roof deflection, it's as simple as creating a line and then converting that to a cross-section on the fly. And then within the drawing tab here, you'll have a graph where the blue line represents the profile point to point, and the orange line represents the profile of the actual mesh surface. You can tailor that to, we'll move on to the next slide. Cool. So handing back to Derek to chat about comprehensive reporting and some of the key changes in TrendSpec 2.0 that unlock more powerful reporting methods.
Thanks, Josh. So this is probably one of the biggest overhauls to the way you can manage workflows within TrendSpec. So from our understanding of working with others, we've seen for any particular asset, there could be multiple audits that happen in a single year, which involves multiple people going to site, taking what we see as representative inspections and generating static PDF reports, some of which we've found that for every asset in a PDF report, they've actually identified they've missed 2 to 3 others. So fundamentally, we wanted to look at how we can improve the way reports are completed. Firstly, it's opening it up to be customizable. So TrendSpec, we've now developed template systems where you can generate a template for each different reporting output, whether it's engineering, whether it's for CapEx planning or risk or environmental. You can customize multiple different templates to suit your exact reporting requirements. The second big component was being able to generate folders for different reporting outputs, or actually even different types of work scopes or different types of defect types. But what it actually enables you to do is to generate folders within folders within folders. That way you can manage vast volumes of these annotation cards within a folder and structure it the way that you need to work. So that is one of the biggest key improvements that we've seen, because you'd be able to now toggle on, for example, a condition audit or a defect type, or by cost, for example. So that is one of the biggest keys, and one of the biggest things we'll be working on again through 2024. So how does this actually improve and optimize your workflow? Well, for starters, Transspec being a collaborative platform means that all different asset stakeholders can now access a single source of information, whether it's to complete, as I said, those different disciplines, whether it's engineering, whether it's insurance assessors. They can also all access the asset online and not have to go on site. But the big difference is using a precision reality twin in Transspec is they have access to the complete exterior of that asset and not rely on elevated work platforms, rope access, only to do a representative inspection. They have the whole amount of information. And with our new reporting templates and folder management system, they can now layer those different reporting outputs and disciplines onto that model. So you're taking a static PDF and you actually now have a full 3D interactive report, which then allows owners and stakeholders to collaborate together throughout that life cycle. So from an engineering perspective, it helps them identify areas that they need to actually do a targeted investigation, for example. It lets owners work with project managers to scope remediation plans, or share it with multiple contractors so they can actually provide accurate scopes of work and for different tenders or remediation tenders. And ultimately, when you start layering the subsequent inspections on top of the old ones, you can then actually start monitoring trends over time. So ultimately, it is now providing the evidence to actually make better decisions around asset management. But ultimately, it reduces risk, whether it's safety, on-site safety risk, public safety risk, or even things like financial, and especially around CapEx planning, because now you have the evidence to support your decisions, but also protects organizational's reputational risk. The other key parts is this now enables teams to be able to optimize process. So optimize, for example, where capital is spent and when it's spent. So it's more targeted CapEx spending. Or it could be operational efficiency, because instead of 5 to 20 people having to go to site in a calendar year, now they can all just do it online and access the information they need. So really, Transspec is built around risk protection and optimization across the whole operate maintain phase of the life cycle. So one big key that Transspec has always focused on, has always been the core of what we do, is our information and data security. So not only are we independently audited for multiple compliances, whether it's ISO 27001 for information security or 277 for privacy, we also recently included SOC, as well as being GDPR compliant. But we understand that your data is, and the security of that information is paramount. And that's why Transspec invests so much into this department. And a lot of it has been built with additional upgrades within Transspec 2.0. So a lot of common questions we have is how do we access 2.0? And the good news is after you log off, you're able to log into Transpec and access it. There's a whole set of comprehensive support documents that you can access when you want to deep dive on how you actually do things. And this is all at no additional cost. So you can log in and start using it today. But what's most exciting is what's next. So as I said, jump in, start using it. Our team is all here to listen and hear your feedback. 2.0 was developed in collaboration with you. So nothing is going to change in the way we develop going forward. We work with you to improve workflows and the challenges that you're seeing and that you're facing on your day-to-day. We're here to help with that. So if you're not using Transpec, and those who have just joined, feel free to reach out to our team. If you want to take a look through, we can actually take you through and see how it would actually impact your asset portfolio or the way you work with different asset stakeholders. But from our perspective, this is only just the beginning. So yes, this opens up our development over the next 5 to 10 years. So what we are working on overcoming 2024 is improvements to all of those different functions, whether it's improved reporting, improved outputs, better ways to collaborate together, layering more information so you can make better decisions. These are all exciting things we're working on. So we thank you for coming along this journey with us. You are key to what we've done. So from us and the whole team, I really wanted to thank you. We look forward to continuing developing a new standard of the way we work with assets across the world. So thank you, and we look forward to talking with you soon.